Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's YamatoCannon coming at you with AMA number 27. I have to hold my microphone a bit ridiculously, but I think it's better than to speak into my headset microphone. I think the audio quality will be better. I didn't do the AMA last week because I've been very busy, very busy. We're working super hard. I am still in quarantine. I am coaching Sandbox Gaming. For those who don't know, I'm in quarantine in Korea. It is required by law for me to be here for 2 weeks. I am out in 3.5 days. So that's super exciting for me to finally meet the players in person and to work with them more actively in person because, of course, online is very limited. You know, I don't get to see their emotions and how they act and their body language and the communication, and I can point to things and I can spend the entire day with the players. Now I'm just doing we're doing the scrims and so forth, and it's also going to be super exciting to be on stage and actually do the drafts. I think that is going to be huge as well. All in all, we're going to jump into your questions. Just a small update on me. This is my room. Nevertheless, as I mentioned, let's jump into the mother flipping questions. Sam Becker asks, what were your thoughts on eStar versus Bilibili Gaming series in particular? How would you handle this type of situation, smiteless jungle as a coach after the game? Well, honestly, I'm surprised that they didn't allow a remake. I don't know how it could happen. I imagine that the players played some 1v1 before or something, but I doubt that there is any punishment required in order for the players to, not do this again. I think losing that game automatically is significant punish enough, and the punishment that was posted seemed to be a bit too harsh. I think it was a month's pay. I think it's a bit too much. I think the player's regretting it, and he did his absolute best. Of course, I think the reason why they needed to punish him harshly was because there's a lot of discussion of match fixing, and I think this is where I am less experienced with, because I know it's a real thing, and maybe this is what eStar had in mind. Stevenson Senpai asks, how's it going? Good, honestly. I think I'm very motivated, so the quarantine is easier. It's a lot easier because I'm so motivated, and Sandbox is taking care of me, and I'm doing, of course, the scrims, but the only frustrating part about this is just I want to do more and work more. Like, sure, I can do my VOD review and whatever from here, but still the connection to the players is not the same, because it's not necessarily about just being a strategic coach. It's about selling it in the right way, teaching ideas and concepts, and everything is just more easier in person. And at the same time, I am able to work with the players completely, meaning like I'll be there 24/7 because I'll have my room in the gaming house, and some of the players are staying there, and I'll just watch over the player the entire time. And I think that's huge. That's a really big deal. OG Red Mist, hi Yamato, with the new Death Dance nerfs, what ADCs do you think will be meta? I don't think it's gonna change much. I think people are still going to do the same thing. I think we'll have to see some extreme nerfs in order for it to change. I still think like Kalista, Aphelios, Ezreal are really strong champions, even without Death Dance. It's just Death Dance really puts them in a crazy position. So it's just, I think the meta won't change. Wicked FM asks, how's food in Korea? Honestly, amazing. Like, obviously I'm eating delivery because I am in quarantine, and the delivery food is amazing. I've eaten braised chicken, salmon bowls, beef bowls, bibimbap, and a bunch of other stuff, like everything that I could have ordered, bento boxes I have ordered, but I'm excited to eat some meals from the chef, because I've heard great things, and I've tried some meals from our chef, and it's fantastic. I love Korean food. I'm really in love with Korean food. Time is temporary asks, did Sandbox reach out to you for coaching? Were you hesitant to accept the position at first? How was getting adjusted to living in Korea been like? Well, I don't really feel like I'm living in Korea yet. I'm just in a room. But Sandbox did indeed reach out to me, and I think hesitant is the wrong word. Of course, you want to assess risk and potential, and if it makes sense, is it a good experience? And these are the thoughts that I go through with any proposition that I have on the table, and I am excited about it because of the experience. I'm excited about it because of the challenge, and I know that I can learn and become even better coming out of this if I put my heart into it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm working very hard, and hopefully we will win some games very soon. Samila28 with another question. How are you interacting with your team while you're in quarantine? I'm just using Discord, and that's it. I'm using Discord and Kakao Talk. FoxyFox32, with my Lions doing so well, do you think they can compete on the international stage? Yeah, why not? I think they've shown that they are capable of adjusting between metas. It wasn't a fluke what happened in spring, and I think they are a very exciting team. I think they have a lot of good ideas on how they want to draft. They have a great vision for how they want to, improve as a team and how they play as a team. Because a lot of the issues that I think were a weakness in spring have been addressed. Humanoid is no longer that guy that just dies on side lane for no reason or gets caught by jungle gangs. Orome is capable of playing strong side, and at the same time they have a very unique draft, and I think the coaching staff is also very, very good. And I think this is a team that will be exciting to watch, because I don't think they will have any fear facing any LPL team or something like that. I don't think they are playing in a way that doesn't translate well across regions. I think there are some teams that are like so late game oriented or so forth, like Origin, for example, in the past when they were considered like the late game team, so to speak. This is not a playstyle that translates well. Schalke No Fear, when they had Upset, Nuktak and so forth, that is a playstyle that I don't think translates well. Now I think everyone's coming to terms with this idea that you need to be, squeezing water from stones in the early game. You can't just sit around and do nothing, and I think this is something that Europe has grasped super well. Rexpeta Oyamata, I don't know how to say your name. Are you bored at quarantine, bro? Not really. Like, time kind of flies because I'm so busy. LCK is honestly, like, we played T1 today, right? We got smashed, and we have a lot of work to do. And in 2 days of practice, after 2 days of practice, we face Genji. So there's no break, there's no nothing. It's just constant schedule. So not bored, very busy. I wish I had more time. And at the same time, I find it almost impossible to be bored. There's so much to do. Like, there's so much to learn about, to read about. Like, being bored is so hard. Like, you can listen to podcasts, you can read online, you can read about stocks, you can learn chess. Like, you could just begin to explore all these things that you have interest in. So I think being bored is only your own fault. Kled Melting Dust. What do you think about things such as a book club or obligatory workout routine for players like Cloud9 does? Do you think it's good to organize the time of players in some way, making sure they stay healthy? If C9 keeps getting better, will it become more popular habit in esports organizations? I think this is very common, actually, very common in organizations. We did this in Vitality, and it is definitely, the future. Making sure that you are healthy outside of the game is going to impact your game. Same as the previous question in regards to mental health. It's the same thing. If your body is prepared to cope, then it's easier to deal with mental strains too. I think every aspect of your life impacts your well-being, and your well-being is also tied to your performance. So how you sleep, how you eat, what do you do in your free time? Are you finding time to enjoy yourself? Are you practicing enough? Are you exercising? All of these things are tied together. Healthy body, healthy mind. Supreme Noob, What is your opinion on the state of LCS right now, as in how the teams are performing and the production side of the LCS? The production looks pretty silly. I agree with the notion that there's so many cool storylines that are easy to sell, and I think this has not been done enough in terms of the player. There's been this entire conversation about players not being LCS ready. Like, LCS is a fucking joke. I think there are, like, what does it mean to be LCS ready? Like, you need to go mid or what? Like, it's stupid. What does LCS ready mean? And Immortals took some victories, and I think they should take chances. Like, why are these bottom teams not taking chances? Why do you keep signing the same names over and over? Like, who he support? Like, what is going on, man? Like, just put some fresh blood in there that can maybe take over the position. Maybe they can be the ones that compete against Cloud9, because that's what Cloud9 has been doing. They've been always reinventing themselves, and if you look at the roster, and the players that have come from there, Blaver, Zazel, Kumo, Licorice, Vulcan was from elsewhere, I get it, but he's still, I guess after Clutch Gaming, he was a very sought after free agent. It just seems like C9 is just a good place to be as a player. That's the dream place to be as a player, because every player that comes out of there just becomes better. Every player that goes into there finds form again. Sven, Niski is playing way better than before. C9 is such a good example for everyone, but no one took upon themselves this idea to, like, let's look at what they're doing and let's do it ourselves too, and let's try to adapt some ideas, because C9, for the longest time ever, were the team that were doing well at international tournaments, and I think Reaper is someone that other teams should have taken a lot of ideas from. In regards to what's going on over there, I'm not watching. I just don't have time to watch LCS. It's fun to watch for the memes and for the reviews, because this is, in the West, this is, actively spoken about, and this is how you get likes and views and so forth, and it's fun. But I can't now. I just don't have time, because as harsh as it is, I will not learn anything from that region. Prisma Kulai. What are your thoughts on SKS not being able to catch up to LPO's style? What is something they need to improve? Good luck, Yamato. I think teams are trying. I think teams are definitely trying. I think sometimes, beating LPL is super difficult. Super difficult. Like, beating LPL, keep this in mind. I just realized, am I holding my microphone backwards? I think it should be okay. LPL have the most money, has the biggest player base, have the biggest investment in terms of their organizations, have the most amount of teams, have a franchise system. Everything is in their favor, resource-wise. They can pick up great players from other regions. They will never lose any of their players. No way. No way in hell a top Chinese player is going to go to a different region. No way. They're gonna make less money, and it's just a big risk, right? Everything is stacked against the LCK and every other region to beat the LPL. You need to have heavy outliers in order to, succeed. G2 is an outlier. T1, maybe with Faker, is also a outlier. But I doubt that this is the year where LCK is going to make a dent to beat LPL, because LPL, is going to improve more rapidly, and you really need the stars to align in order for you to beat the LPL at the World Championship. I'm not saying beating one LPL team, I mean winning the whole World Championship with 4 LPL teams being there. This is going to be super difficult for any team that is not from LPL ever since IG won Worlds. This is where, everything caught up. Coaching was there. Coach Kim was a part of the IG roster that won Worlds, and now he's, of course, in T1. Coaching is there. It's no longer a player-ran region. The players are no longer living rockstar lifestyles. People, like, all these resources are being properly managed and used, and this is, of course, naturally the LPL is going to be the strongest. So I think we should put this in our mind when we think of LCK and Europe beating LPL. It is a very, very tough task, but it might be possible. You just need to be that outlier. You need to be that outlier. It needs to be something special. G2 is something special. Faker is something special, right? Maybe DRX is something special because Chovy is playing well and so forth. Who knows? It needs to be something extra. It needs to kind of redefine the game. That team needs to redefine the game. And it's not like LPL is not improving as well. They're getting better and better and better. So it's a tough task. I'm assuming that's your name. Have you ever considered writing a book about your personal development as a player and coach, and or about the evolution of professional LoL as a whole? I'm sure you have many fascinating observations, insights, and stories. I'd imagine that coaching career will lead to many more. I've thought about this a lot, honestly. I thought about it, but I don't know if there would be any interest. I don't know how much, there is to gain from it. I don't know. I don't know the logistics, but if you guys are interested, let me know. Liquid Solid G, hi Amara, how well do you think would bottom LEC teams do in LCS? I think they could definitely slot themselves in the top 4. The bottom LEC teams, maybe not Schalke. Schalke would maybe have a hard time. Vitality, SK, Excel, I assume are at the bottom. Maybe SK has more wins than G2. I don't know what the standings are. Nevertheless, I think they could compete for playoffs guaranteed, and then maybe do some damage. I don't think they are good enough to beat C9. Carboy 101, if you had to hand out a most improved award to 2 players in LEC, LCS, who would the awards go to? Something about this year alone. I think Niski has impressed me this year. I think his improvement has been insane. Ever since reading that interview about how he studied Doinby and took it upon himself, and him joining C9, that's been fantastic for his growth. I think Niski is very, very improved, because I didn't think much of him before that, honestly. And you can find footage of me saying that, but now I think he has convinced me big time, and I would put him up as the most improved. In LEC, let me think. Honestly, Humanoid. I think Humanoid has gotten a lot better, because I think mechanically he was always like decent, but he always played kind of dumb, and now I think he plays a lot better. I think he is, should be in the conversation for like top 2 mid, and I think he's improved super much. Definitely spotted his own weaknesses, and he is a core part of the successful Mad Lions. Yum asks, how open are you about introducing European players into Sandbox? Should they allow you absolute roster freedom? I wouldn't do it. 5 players are speaking Korean. It's different as the coach. It's very different as the coach, because I can take time to explain things. In game, you can't take that time. And Korean players, on average, I think individually are stronger. So I would not want to do that. The key difference, I think, is I think what I've noticed a big difference between Korean players and European players is that I think Korean players are sometimes used to not think actively of how they want to progress and how they want to approach the game and what they want to play. But this is just anecdotal, I think in a lot of cases Western players have like a vision for what they want to do, and they are very opinionated, and I think that is also very useful in a team environment, both ways. I think I have answered enough questions. I'm tired of holding this microphone like this. It's freaking silly. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, ask them in the YamatoCannon subreddit or the Discord. Subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. It comes out every now and then. I'm very busy, as I mentioned, but all in all, I'm excited to get out of quarantine. I'm doing well. I'm alive. I know a lot of people asking in Twitch chat when Sandbox is playing, where's Yamato and YamatoCannon and Yamato EU coach Lul draft, whatever. I'll be drafting on stage very soon, and and I will take over the whole operation, and then you can flame me all you want. All the best to all of you. If you made it to the end of this video, bless you and bless your face.